Now, I would request all of you to remain seated for the next session, which is our valedictory session. It is an introduction to the grants of Agroecology Program Fund. Thank you, everyone.
A very good evening to all of you. We have now come to the end, and this is the final session of the Livelihoods India Summit 2024. To begin the proceedings, may I invite on stage Mr. Vivek Sinha, Senior Project Director, Access Development Services. Please give a huge round of applause. Her Royal Highness, the Infanta Doña Cristina of Spain, Director of International Area at La Caixa Foundation. Ma'am, please come on stage. Mr. N. Srinivasan, Expert, Rural Finance and Livelihoods. Sir, we would please ask you to come up on stage. And Mr. Faiz Ahmed Kidwai, Additional Secretary, Department of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Government of India. I request Dibya Jyoti to come up on stage and present floral bouquets to our esteemed guests. Please have a seat. I would now request Mr. Srinivasan to please come to the stage and give a small summary of the deliberations the 2 days of the summit.
I guess it's a bit tough to summarize 2 days of very engaging discussions spread over, I think, 6 different venues within the same building and also this very hall. I would only like to recall that this is the 14th edition of this summit event. I have been fortunate enough to attend 13 out of these 14. 1 year, I think, Vipin, I had to miss out. When I look, not only a summary of this, when I look a little bit back, the way this summit has evolved over these last 14 years, it fairly reflects the changes that have taken place in the livelihood base of the country, so to say. The kind of themes we took up in the very first one in 2009, which we are wondering whether the summit will be a successful one, the way it was being done. And what's getting done today in terms of the themes, in terms of the kind of participants, and also the flow of discussion that take place, there is a sea change. We are far away from where we started today. We discuss technology, we discuss issues on climate change, we discuss women entrepreneurship, and we discuss finance in a fairly mainstream manner, meaning assuming half the money that is required is already there, remaining half how to get it for what we call the edge ideas. The last 2 days have been quite significant in terms of very rich learnings. The sessions I had personally managed to attend, I found each one of them quite rewarding. Quite a bit of sharing on what's happening, more importantly, what is not happening in a manner that is constructive, in a manner that is quite critical, analytical, providing thought for people on how to move forward. The inaugural session that we had, want to take it? Thank you. No, I have not been, what do you call, decarpeted or something. They removed a small platform underneath the feet. So the inaugural session brought in a whole, what do you call, flavor. So Mr. Sharp very clearly said that gender equality is not an issue of women alone, meaning that rings a bell even now. When we talk about livelihoods, it's not an issue of the poor alone. It is of the entire society. And the kind of people who participate, kind of institutions who participate in discussion, it fully reflects the fact that we are all seized of the fact that a 1.4 billion market that we all assume is effective only when a large number of people are gainfully employed, having viable livelihoods. So the themes that we talked about, whether it is climate change, sustainable agriculture, skilling, employment, looking at women entrepreneurship, all these have mostly contributed to how we are moving and how we can move forward further. The new institutional options that have come in, whether it is farmer producer organizations or it is the federations of self-help groups which we talked about, how they are contributing to the overall improvements in the society and how they can be more functionally used, take the agenda forward. And we were fortunate enough to get 2 publications released right in the opening session. There have been immense contributions by a number of authors in the Livelihoods report, the State of India's Livelihoods report, which is one of the reference documents for the sector over the last 14 years. I think the entire Access team should be proud of bringing out this publication each year. But I should also record that this year the volume was slightly on a diet. We should try and improve the nutrition of it for the next year. And we were happy to release our book, where I and Girija, we wrote this book on 30 years of self-help group movement and the kind of discussions that followed on not only SHGs but also on the other accompanying theme. It had been wonderful. And the audience participation in all the sessions, the way they had asked questions, not only inside the session, even during the coffee breaks and lunch breaks, pursuing issues. Of course, this conference is not about events that take place inside the halls. The kind of networking, the kind of linkages that take place for future program planning elsewhere, hiring of key personnel, it all took place. I was a party to several of these outside, where I think new projects were being planned with the kind of idea that came. I hope the energy that we generate here, it increases in both volume and content, and we take forward the spirit of the program much more vigorously. My only request to Vipin and the Access team is to slightly make it more global, more inclusive, bringing maybe at least the countries from the rest of the South Asia, because the problems we face are the problems they face. They have some solutions which are different from ours. We have some solutions for the problem they have. So can we make this much more global than what it is? And let me conclude this with what we call a manager's prayer from my side. What it says is, God give me the power to change things I can and endure those that I can't. But more importantly, give me the wisdom to know what is the difference between these two. Thank you all.
I now invite Mr. Vivek Sinha to give an introduction to the Grants for Agroecology Program Fund.
A very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As we bring the curtain down on this grand event, it is a privilege for me to have amongst us Her Royal Highness, the Infanta Donna Cristina of Spain, Director of the La Casia Foundation, and Shri Faiz Ahmed Kidwai, Additional Secretary, Government of India, Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, to give away the GAP Awards to the first cohort of the grantees. However, before they do that, let me introduce the GAP Fund briefly to you. So the GAP Fund is basically a collaboration between BMZ and IFAD, in which the BMZ has supplemented the efforts of IFAD in creating the corpus for this fund. Basically, the GAP Fund deals with, I think it's a unique opportunity to implement sustainable, inclusive, and agroecological-based value chain projects for development of an integrated food production ecosystem. I think the main aim of this is to leverage the market demand for sustainable foods and linking the smallholders to the value chain actors in a sustainable kind of way. So two kind of entities are eligible for this grant. The first is the SMEs, and the second is the farmers collectives, or what we call FPCs and FPOs. I think there are three key aspects of this fund which I'd like to highlight before you. Number one is, of course, integration of the agroecological principles. The second is impact on smallholder farmers in terms of increase in their incomes. And the third is, of course, the sustainability and financial viability of these businesses. Some of the other features I'd like to present before you is that there is a provision for a minimum 30% of own equity or own contribution that these enterprises have to bring. This could either be in terms of their own equity, they could source loans from other sources, they could go in for co-finance or grants from other sources, and also we are thinking about a blended finance to cover this 30%. Also recognizing the challenges that any FPO or SME would face in kind of developing a business proposal and giving it to us, we have incorporated an element of need-based technical support to eligible entities to help them in preparing good business proposals. We also recognize that, the upstream challenges in terms of linkages is also a problem for many FPCs. So we've also incorporated an element of mentoring and business coaching, which during the implementation of the project would help handhold these entities and taking them, helping them bridge this gap. Also, besides the smallholder farmers, we would also like to concentrate on other vulnerable groups such as the youth, tribals, and women. Let me now come to the two aspects of this grant gap fund. What we call, the first one we are calling the gap regular fund, and the second is the gap challenger fund. The major differentiator between the two is the quantum of finance between the two and the geographical, outreach of these particular funds. So the regular fund or the gap regular fund, I think we can provide a kind of grant support ranging from 2 million to 10 million Indian rupees. This is open only for 10 focus states, and this is open on tap throughout the year. The 10 focus states being in the northeast, we have Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, and Assam. I think in the west of India, we have Rajasthan and Maharashtra. In central India, we have Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh. And in the east, we have Odisha. And in the north, Uttarakhand. So these are the 10 states. As regards the Gap Challenger Fund, we can provide grants ranging from 10 million and up to 20 million. This is open pan-India for all the FPCs and SMEs. And this is kind of open on a quarterly basis that we will announce. Let me now take you through the application process. So we've envisaged a two-stage of application process. During the first stage, we would invite submission of concept notes by the applicants. These would be evaluated by the fund manager team, and we would basically be looking at things like the innovation in the project and the potential scope, and of course, adherence to some of the agroecological principles. Once they pass muster in these kind of tests, we would invite them to submit a detailed proposal, and that would again be evaluated by the fund manager team and access. And here we would be looking at things like sustainability and viability of these projects. Once this happens, we've constituted the investment committee. There are two investment committees. They consist of external, experts amongst the stakeholders. So it's a quite a empowered and high-powered committee which will have a look at these approvals. And in case they find it suitable for sanction, we would then award the grant. And the last stage, of course, consists of monitoring and evaluation of these particular projects. So just to give you an idea of the progress we've made in the last 3 to 4 months that this GAP fund has been in operation, so far we've received around 278 concept notes, out of which in the regular fund and 25 in the challenger fund. Out of these, we have kind of evaluated 160 concept notes and selected 56 of them for submission of more detailed proposals. Out of these 56, I think 33 full proposals we have received, and out of this, 20 of them are from the FPOs and 13 are from the MSMEs. And out of these 33, we've gone through about 15, and we are very proud and happy that we will be presenting the awards on stage today to at least 7 of them. So some of the agroecological principles are before you. I need not dwell on them much further because they are well established. We've also had very detailed sessions during this event on agroecological principles. So of course, some of them deal with diversity, synergy, efficiency, recycling, co-creation and sharing of knowledge, resilience, human and social values, culture and food traditions, responsible governance, and circular and solidarity economy. To give you a flavor of some of the awardees which will be coming on stage before you today, we have in the regular fund, we have 5 of them, out of which 2 are SMEs and 3 are FPCs. So the first is AgriNet, which is operating in the district of Chamoli, where basically barren land which is infested with the weed called lantana is there. So they plan to take out this weed and also grow lemongrass on this and extract the lemongrass oil, which has a lot of demand both for medicinal purpose as well as in the fragrance industry. The second is a agri-tech kind of entity, a startup, which is developing a platform in which they want to onboard all the farmers in the Northeast and Assam at least, and there they will trace, the movement of the food grains right from the farm to the fork. They want to trace that and make it available to the consumers so that the traceability issues can be, accessed by some of the consumers that buy these products. Out of the FPCs, we have 3 of them. The first is based in Rajasthan, which is using slurry, which is a byproduct of the, biogas plant, and they want to convert it into a protein-rich organic manure that can be used by these farmers to improve the productivity of their plants. The second is Negi Pahadi FPC, which operates in a tribal area of Odisha, and they are basically interested in not only growing but also processing GI tag turmeric. This particular turmeric is very high in the curcumin value and has a lot of medicinal utility for the people who consume it. And the third one is also in Odisha. It is the Pendrani FPC, which is, wants to do processing in dairy, vermicompost, and azola. As far as the Challenger Fund is concerned, of course, we are still in the final process of evaluation, but these 2 things, one FPC and one SME, I would like to present before you. The first one is based in Meghalaya. It is the All Garo Hills Multipurpose Cooperative Society. They have been growing traditionally, the women in Meghalaya in the Garo Hills grow a lot of cashew nut, but there has been a decline in productivity of this cashew nut, and this kind of species of plant requires a rejuvenation. So the proposal talks about rejuvenating this by a new variety and processing the cashew nut and also growing spices along with that. And the last one is based in Karnataka, which deals with vetiver, which is, a very important kind of plant for retaining the soil erosion, stopping the soil erosion. And also they want to grow this in wasteland, which is on the coastal area, basically sandy soil, and they want to extract vetiver oil, which again has a lot of demand in the fragrance industry. So my last slide before I stop. Some more things is that we are preparing a dashboard, a platform, a portal kind of thing for our GAP fund. We want to bring in transparency in this fund as far as possible. And once this is developed shortly, hopefully, we would like all the applicants to apply on this dashboard, and we would be processing it, kind of downloading the documents from this and processing the cases. We would also like to, monitor the progress through MIS on this dashboard. And we also want to capture some of the M&E elements so that we can, judge the agroecological impact of these projects eventually when the project, time is over. We also are in the process. We floated a tender. We want to kind of launch a study in these 10 focus states where we want a detailed analysis of the value chains of at least 3 main commodities in each of these 10 focus states, and hopefully we should commission this study very, very soon. And the last thing that we are working on is, of course, tie-up arrangements with both banks and financial institutions for co-financing and for a blended finance product. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This is some of the information in case we have a website and an email in case any of you wants any further information on the GAP product. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vivek, for the presentation. Next, it is my honor and privilege to invite on stage Her Royal Highness, the Infanta Doña Cristina of Spain, to deliver the keynote address.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much. It is a great pleasure for me to be here today representing La Caixa Foundation as Director of the International Area. I would like to begin by thanking Access Development Services for the kind invitation to this valedictory session of the Livelihoods India Summit 2024. I would also like to congratulate all the Access team for the commitment and the organization of such a relevant event. The issues that have been discussed these days here are key inclusive value chain technology infusion to improve livelihoods, women's entrepreneurship, and an impact of climate change on livelihoods, among other issues affecting the poorest. The conference has brought together leaders in the field of development, experts in social innovation, and very different organizations to share their knowledge and experience with a strong focus on livelihoods, an issue that many countries are grappling with. It is very inspiring to see such initiatives that enable us to unlock livelihoods while keeping inclusion and climate resilience at the center of the solutions. We are convinced that this conference will help increase the connections, networks, and activities, and most important, contribute to improve the living conditions of the most vulnerable. I would like to start with a brief introduction of La Caixa Foundation for all of you who don't know very much about us. For 120 years, La Caixa Foundation has been strongly committed to the progress of people and to building a better and fairer society for everyone, promoting activities of social, cultural, educational, and scientific nature. Our beginnings date back to La Caja de Pensiones para la Vejez y de Ahorros, a savings bank founded in Barcelona in 1904 by a Catalan lawyer, Francesc Moragas, with the support of various organizations from the civil society. From the very start, La Caixa Foundation was known for its strong social commitment and vocation to further the interests of society at large. In 2014, with the aim to preserve its social commitment, the foundation became the owner of the bank and also a holding company called Criteria, whose dividends today feed the budget with which we develop our social action. As I mentioned, the foundation's mission is to give opportunities to the people who most need it, with the values of trust, excellence, and social commitment. Most of our activity is implemented in Spain and in Portugal. However, 27 years ago, the International Cooperation Program was created, launching the first call for proposals for projects promoted by Spanish NGOs and their local partner organizations in vulnerable countries in Africa, Asia, and Latin America. We also started raising awareness activities and training professionals of international cooperation organizations. Since then, our strategy involves providing opportunities and combating inequalities through programs that contribute to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Our main focus on international cooperation today is the promotion of global health, job creation, education, capacity building, and humanitarian action. The priority being to improve living conditions of women, children, and youth. We are aware that the needs are multiple and very different, and that challenges are so complex that they cannot be solved through isolated initiatives. Therefore, in all our actions, we promote partnerships and alliances, both with national and international organizations that share the same mission and seek, like us, to increase the impact of their actions. The main countries where we implement most of our projects have been selected considering the priorities of the Spanish organizations, as well as our experience from all these years. Thus, today we are promoting more programs in Ethiopia, Mozambique, Peru, Colombia, India, and the Portuguese-speaking African countries. Since the beginning, India has been one of our priority countries. In India, we have collaborated in 30 projects, mainly of socioeconomic development and employment generation, that have benefited more than 430,000 people in total. Over the last years, we have seen a transformative form from the traditional approaches of intervention in the field of international cooperation to one focused on systemic change and networking. This is the reason why, and as a result of all our experience, in 2017, we launched the Work for Progress program with the aim of promoting innovative and sustainable solutions for the creation of decent jobs for women and young people in India, Mozambique, Peru, and since last year, Colombia. Work for Progress is based on a model of open social innovation platform through which we manage to leave behind the financing of isolated projects, and we aspire to contribute to the construction of an innovation ecosystems in the regions where we are present. The main novelty of this program is the incorporation of new tools and methodologies in listening and identifying community needs, co-creation and prototyping of new solutions, scaling instruments, collaborative governance, new evaluation systems, and funding strategies, as you have probably been hearing along these days. With an investment from La Caixa Foundation of more than 17 million euros, Work for Progress promotes networks for non-profit organizations, universities, financial institutions, and public actors that work in a coordinated manner for the implementation of business ideas and the reinforcement of the entrepreneurship ecosystem. Work for Progress has managed to become a benchmark for innovation and experimentation in the field of development. The platform approach has itself enabled previously disconnected social organizations, public institutions, and companies in India, Peru, Colombia, and Mozambique to join forces and actively seek points of connection. Work for Progress has a diverse portfolio of prototypes and initiatives that are generating employment among the most disadvantaged people. In this sense, since 2017, 166 prototypes of companies and services have been designed and put into operation. More than 19,000 businesses have been started, more than 40,000 jobs generated in the Work for Progress countries. Some examples of these initiatives and their results have been shown in the previous panel, Unlocking Entrepreneurship, Creating Jobs at Scale, organized by the Work for Progress India organizations. In recent years, La Caixa Foundation, through the Work for Progress program, has created a safe space for experimentation that has allowed the organizations and members of the networks that make up the program to explore and tackle complex problems. The Work for Progress program, Innovation for Job Creation, is an example. The program has a social innovation approach based on prototyping high-impact solutions that are identified in spaces for co-creation and collaborative learning. It requires a lot of trust between partners, with the idea to transfer the leadership and the decision-making process to the local partners and communities. Long-term partnerships, participatory approach, flexibility, and freedom for the local partners, and combined action and knowledge generation are key elements to give power to the communities and local organizations. Launched in 2017, as I just said, the Work for Progress program, India platform, currently has 3 networks comprising 14 core organizations. The main geographical areas of action are Eastern Uttar Pradesh, Bundelkhand, and Rajasthan region. From our experience, some of the key aspects that explains the success of this program are: first, the promotion of a collaborative governance in which trust between the partners has been fundamental. Second, a medium and long-term commitment by all actors that are involved. Third, having the necessary flexibility to adapt to a complex and changing environment. And fourth, constantly seeking new methodologies and formulas that allow us to move forward more quickly and safely. I would like to mention that Work for Progress program has received several global recognitions, such as UNDP, the World Bank, the SDG Good Practice Award, and the Paris Peace Forum, among others. Work for Progress has struck a good balance between impact on employment generation and positioning itself as a safe space for experimentation and knowledge generation that is shared internationally in events such as this one of the India Livelihoods Summit. But we know that there is still a lot to do, and the following are some of the main challenges we have identified for the coming years: the progressive transfer of leadership to local organizations, progress in connecting with markets by facilitating access to funding to accelerate and scale ventures, maintain and strengthen the strategy of knowledge generation and transfer, and to explore and implement innovative ways of funding to promote sustainability. I would like to finish my intervention by saying that after so many years of experience, we have identified some key elements for a really systemic change that can really contribute to improving living conditions for the most vulnerable people. The need to address complex problems from a holistic perspective, considering the interconnections and systemic dynamics at play. The importance of experimentation and the ability to adapt as circumstances evolve. Systemic change implies a continuous process of learning and adjustment, humbleness and willingness to learn and unlearn on the way to effective and sustainable solutions. Multi-sectoral collaboration, despite the complexity, it is key to understand different interests and find common ground. More inclusive participation, the need to empower marginalized communities and entrepreneurs, enabling them to actively participate in decision-making processes and the pursuit of collaboration. The key role of social innovation in systemic change. Social innovation models are catalysts for the development of context-specific solutions. The need to assess long-term impact, overcoming the pressure for immediate results. Design of innovative financing strategies combined with traditional ones, and technical accompaniment. Combining the efforts of all kinds of public and private agents certainly optimizes results and achievements. As we like to say, collaborating is not only about doing things together, it is also about learning from each other, to try and make the most of the different approaches, but all focused on the same goal. We are convinced that working together and adding efforts will surely help to change lives and build better futures for the most vulnerable populations. Thank you very much, and congratulations again for this incredible event.
Thank you, Your Royal Highness, for your inspiring speech and highlighting the need for collaboration, long-term commitment, adaptability, and seeking new innovations and methodologies. We will now proceed to the first important segment of the evening, Award for Gap Funds. I invite Elizabeth Steinmeier of AFAD to join us on stage. I also invite on stage Mr. Vipin Sharma, CEO Access. We are very excited to begin the presentation ceremony for award of grant certificates to the first cohort of GAP awardees. The first awardee of Grant Certificate of GAP is Samriddhi Agriculture Producer Company Limited, Rajasthan. I would like to invite on stage Sagar Kunwar and team to accept the awards on behalf of Samriddhi APCL. May I request?
In Hindi also.
Okay. May I request Her Royal Highness to give away the grant certificate to the awardee. Many congratulations, Team Samriddhi Agriculture Producer Company Limited, for getting this grant. Everybody, please give a big round of applause. The next grant certificate of GAP fund is awarded to Negi Pehri Women Farmer Producer Cooperative Limited, Odisha. I invite on stage Sujata Malik and team to accept the grant certificate on behalf of Negi Pehri Women Farmer Producer Cooperative Limited, Odisha. May I request Mr. Faiz Ahmad Kidwai to give away the grant certificate to the awardee. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. The next grant certificate of GAP fund is awarded to Pendrani Krushak Producer Company Limited, Odisha. A big round of applause, everybody. I invite on stage Purnima Ray and her team to accept the grant certificate on behalf of Pendrani Krushak Producer Cooperative Limited. फोटोज के लिए थोड़ा हंस के दिखाएं. The next grant certificate of GAP fund is awarded to AgriNet Food and Beverages Private Limited, Uttarakhand. I invite on stage Ronald Castellano and team to accept the awards on behalf of AgriNet. Everyone, please give a huge round of applause for the team. The next awardees are Axpert Technology Private Limited, Guwahati, Assam. I invite on stage Siddharth Bora and team to accept the grant certificate on behalf of the team. A huge round of applause, please, for the team. Congratulations, Team Axpert, on this award. Under the Challenge Fund, where the grant range is rupees 10 to 20 million, we have two awardees. The first grant certificate under the Challenge Fund is awarded to Biotherm Flavors and Fragrances LLP, Bangalore. I would invite on stage Dr. Moeed to accept the awards on behalf of Biotherm Flavors and Fragrances. A huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. The second grant certificate under Challenge Fund is awarded to All Garo Hills Multipurpose Cooperative Society Limited, Meghalaya, for their project Cashew Plantation Revival projects in Garo Hills. I invite on stage Josh Varghese to accept the award on behalf of Olgaro Multipurpose Cooperative Society Limited. I thank our esteemed guests for awarding the grant certificate to the grantees. May I request Elizabeth and Vipin to take their place back in the audience, and I request the guests to please take their place on the stage. We now move to the next segment of the valedictory session. Axis is among the leading FPO promoters in the country, having promoted over 206 FPOs across 7 states, impacting 1.5 lakhs plus farmers and strengthening another 120 FPOs in the last 16 years. Axis is also accredited as CBBO with all the major apex organizations of the government. Axis also plays an important role in strengthening the FPO ecosystem, given that the FPO model is still some way towards becoming a viable and sustainable idea. Axis felt it is important to identify a few FPOs that have made important breakthroughs and recognize them as examples of excellence and become benchmark for the sector. This is a rationale for Axis to introduce the FPO Impact Awards. We are very thrilled to present the 6th edition of the FPO Impact Awards today. We are glad to report that since its inception, the FPO Impact Awards has become well established and coveted among the FPO community. While 2 categories of the FPO of the year, large and small, are continuing from the earlier years, with the support of FWWB India and Ananya Finance for Inclusive Growth, since 2020, we have also instituted a new category, Friends of Women FPO Award in the memory of late Ms. Vijayalakshmi Das. This year, the awards were announced in 4 categories: FPO of the Year Large, FPO of the Year Small, Friend of Women Vijayalakshmi Das FPO of the Year, FPO Promoting Institution of the Year. We are thankful to our eminent jury members comprising of Dr. Harsh Kumar Bhanwala, Professor C. Shambhu Prasad, Mr. S.S. Bhatt, and Mr. Amit Arora, and Hemendra Mathur for assessment and careful selection of today's winners. May I request Mr. Vipin Sharma to join us on stage again. We will now proceed with the announcement of the awards and the felicitation of this year's winners. Firstly, to begin with, the award ceremony with the winner of first category FPO award, FPO of the Year Large. The first award in this category goes to Vilatikulam Pudur Pulses Producer Company Limited. Many congratulations, team. I request the CEO, Miss B. Bavitra and Mr. Elappan to come up on stage and accept the award. This year, we also have a special jury meeting in the FPO of the Year Large category. This goes to Matota Tribal Farming and Marketing Producer Company. Many congratulations. I request the CEO, Mr. V. Chinnarao, and his team to kindly come up on stage and accept the award. Please, a huge round of applause. Announcing the winner of the award for FPO of the Year in category Small. The award in this category goes to Sasyashri Farmer Producer Company. Many congratulations to the team on this important recognition. I request CEO Mr. Arun Kumar, Rajashekharan Nagamurthy, Director, and Karanje KS and their team to kindly come up on stage and accept the award. A huge round of applause. for Team Sasyashri on their win. The next award today is for a very special category, the Vijay Lakshmi Das Friend of Women FPO Award in memory of late Mrs. Vijay Lakshmi Das, in order to honor her legacy of tireless commitment to women's access to financial services. To present this award, we would also request Mr. Bhatt to come up on stage. The award goes to Veerapandi Kalanjia Jeevidam Pharma Producer Company. Many congratulations, team. May I request Ms. Shivarani and her team to please come up on stage and accept the award. A huge round of applause, please. We have now come to award for the final category, FPO Promoting Institutions of the Year. We have two joint winners in this category. The first joint winner for FPO Promoting Institution of the Year category is Madhya Bharat Consortium of Farmers Producer Company Limited. I would request Yogesh Dwivedi and his team to please come up on stage and accept the award. Announcing the second joint winner, Jharkhand State Livelihoods Promotion Society. I request Amit Kumar Barman and Pranav Priyadarshini to come up on stage and accept the award. I would request Team JSLPS to please come up on stage and accept the award. A big round of applause for the team, everyone. With this, we come to an end to the award ceremony. I would now request our distinguished guest, Mr. Faiz Ahmad Kidwai, who will deliver the valedictory address. Please, sir, come up on the dais.
Your Royal Highness, dignitaries on the dais, senior functionaries from Access, it gives me immense pleasure to be here today amongst all of you on the Livelihoods India Summit campaign and also the GAP Trust and the Gap Award ceremony. It is always a pleasure to be amongst people who are working for the farmers. India, as most of us know here, almost more than 50% of our livelihoods are through farming, and almost 87% of our farmers are small and marginal farmers, which means land holdings which are less than 2 hectares. For them to do farming at economies of scale, for them to access markets, for them to have some kind of a bargaining power vis-a-vis the markets, it is very important that they come together and they form collectives. Efforts at collectivization have been made through cooperatives, and more recently through the farmer producer organizations and the farmer producer companies. It is very heartening and very encouraging to see these small farmers who have come together, and through the value chain they have taken up activities like input substitution, reduction in costs. Then they are also aggregating, they are aggregators for their producers, and they are bargaining in the market today. And you have seen some of them who have now advanced to processing and value addition. I think in a country like India, this is the way forward, and it is always encouraging to see organizations who recognize these efforts, who help and who encourage organizations who are helping farmers in turn to form these collectives and achieve these goals. As a part of government, we have a 10,000 FPO scheme where it is our target to form 10,000 FPOs, at least one in each of our blocks. We have around 7,500 blocks in the country, and we have formed almost close to 8,000 FPOs under this scheme. We provide them funding, we provide them a management grant which is 18 lakh rupees, and we also give them an equity fund which is about 15 lakh rupees, so totaling up to about 33 lakh rupees, which is 3.3 million rupees. And apart from that, there is a credit guarantee fund also created by the government, which is parked with NABARD. So whatever loans these FPOs are taking, there is a guarantee, almost a 75% credit guarantee against those loans given by the government. I would also like to tell you at this moment that we have FPO guidelines, but we are also in the process of making an FPO policy, so that there is an overall architecture for FPO consolidation and FPO movement. Very soon, that policy will also lead this initiative. Apart from that, the government is also making efforts to increase the marketing access for farmers, and also to enable them to access markets directly through various platforms. That is another initiative which is going on. So again, I would like to thank all of you for inviting me to this event, and I would wish you all the best. And efforts like this not only help the farmers, but also, I believe, help all those organizations, all those people who are working in this sector, because there is a lot of cross-learning, and there are many interesting and very successful examples across the country, from which all of us, not only you, but we as government, can learn and replicate. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, sir. As a token of our gratitude, we would like to present our guests, Her Royal Highness and Mr. Faiz Ahmed, with shawls. I would request Bipin to come up on stage and please felicitate our guests. Thank you so much. With this, we come to an end to the Livelihoods India Summit 2023. May I now request Ms. Pooja Gaur from Livelihoods India Secretariat to propose the vote of thanks.
Respected guests or dais, Her Royal Highness Mr. Faiz Ahmed Kidwai, Mr. Srinivasan sir, and Vivek, ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the close of the Livelihoods India Summit 2023, it's my privilege to deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of Access Development Services. My first vote of thanks goes to the esteemed guests on the dais. Thank you, Mr. Srinivasan, for your succinct summary of the deliberation across 2 days. It was no mean task, and I don't think anybody could have done it better than you. Thank you, Vivek, for your detailed presentation on the Gap Challenge Fund. I'm sure the sectoral audience present here today would have found it very useful, and some of them will apply for this fund. Yeah. My deepest gratitude to Her Royal Highness for coming down and spending time with us, for your keynote address covering all the inspiring work that the Lakasha Foundation is doing internationally, and for giving away the awards to the winners and grantees today and providing them with much encouragement. My most sincere thanks to Mr. Faiz Ahmed Kidwai for taking the time out from his extremely busy schedule, sir, to encourage the winners of the FPO Impact Awards. Thank you, sir, also for sharing your vision and the Government of India's vision around FPO promotion. My deepest gratitude to each and every one of the 100+ guest speakers and resource persons for sharing their knowledge and experience and wisdom, and for very enriching discussions across the 2 days. I'm thankful to all the delegates for participating at the 14th Livelihoods India Summit. Without your enthused participation, the summit would not have been the success that it has been. I express my deepest gratitude to all our sponsors and partners who have continued to support us, and all the new partners who have come on board for the first time. Our co-sponsors, BMGF, BRAC International, Work for Progress, and World Bank. Your support has been instrumental. Our knowledge partners, Rabobank, India Water Portal, and Village Square. Our track partner, Aragyam. Our technical partners, HCL Foundation, Hand in Hand, Grameen Foundation for Social Impact, NAB Samruddhi, GIZ UN Women, ITC, IRMA, iWage, and Lead at Kriya University. We are thankful to the partners who have not only supported us with financial resources, but also helped us design various sessions and bring on board resource persons for the various sessions. An event like this cannot happen overnight. The wheels started rolling weeks ago. And I'd like to thank our CEO, Mr. Vipin Sharma, for driving us with his vision and guidance, for pushing us to do more and better each time. My teammates from the Delhi and state teams who supported the secretariat and pitched in each time we were short on bandwidth. Also, some of my ex-colleagues who are here today to help me out. My comms team led by Tanya, Asa, and Sneha for their immense support, which went beyond the comms work. My program support team led by Subir, Shilpa, Mahendra, Nitin, Vishwas, and others. And also to our event managers, Numek, thank you for your support in helping us put this together. Last but not the least, my team member Parul. Without your unwavering support, we could not have pulled this off. I thank you all, and we look forward to seeing you at the Livelihoods India Summit 2024 with greater participation and sharing of experiences from the region. Hoping that this has been a useful experience for all of you and brings value to the sector. Good evening.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Fantastic. Congratulations to Thank you so much.
Come for the photo. That's why we finished. Please stand. You should be. Thank you, ma'am. Being here and
Very inspiring.